hope you're doing really well. I apologise for my dishevelled look. It's 10:35 on a Monday morning, and I still had a bit of a sleep in. I did a video when I got some mail this morning, but I've just picked up on some news. So this is titled "Thrown Under a Bus: Amy Brown leaves the New South Wales government." It looks like she has finally gone. So, very, very interesting. Has she been thrown under a bus? We heard that everybody else seems to have been shown to have been okay. Stuart Ayres was seen to in the investigation has come out smelling of roses. The government seems to have come out smelling like roses. Somebody had to take the fall, and it looks like, I feel sorry for Amy Brown. I hope she gets called into ICAC. And it's very, very interesting, this. So I just read, and it appeared in my feed actually, and dobbed them all in, of course. I was just reading an article, and this is why I came on, and plus at the moment I can't record. I've got a live stream, so I apologise for all of that. So I was just reading this. Former New South Wales boss Amy Brown leaves public sector in wake of John Barilaro job saga. So the New South Wales bureaucrat at the centre of the controversial appointment of John Barilaro to a US trade role is leaving the public sector. Now, in Senate estimates last week, it was revealed that her job was, they were looking at taking disciplinary action against her over it, which I thought was a bit rich. But anyway, there is a YouTube channel called Swollen Pickle who has done an 8-part series on this and actually shows excerpts of the parliamentary inquiry where Coates Trotter, who is the Premier's person in the Premier and Cabinet Department, talks about taking disciplinary action against her. So, So she was the CEO of Investment New South Wales. She was the body responsible for hiring senior trade and investment commissioners, and of course she hired Barilaro. Between June and August, she was called 3 times by a parliamentary inquiry. And a separate report found she failed to act in accordance with Code of Ethics. The report by former Public Service Commissioner Graham Head said Ms Brown had kept information from other panel members about the job, and the fact she discussed Barilaro's suitability with then Minister for Trade Stuart Ayres. The recruitment process was supposed to be independent of the minister. Yet the minister has come out smelling like roses. The other interesting thing is that under the Parliamentary Estimates Committee, none of the ministers there are bound to tell the truth. And even in the inquiry that was done, it was also determined they are not necessarily bound to be truthful. Yet, in this parliamentary hearing, Amy Brown's she took the oath where she promised to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So is that fair that a report where people didn't have to tell the truth has come out of politicians smelling like roses, and Amy Brown being thrown under the bus, as opposed to people not having to tell the truth? So in a LinkedIn post uploaded Monday, she announced that today was her last day working for the New South Wales government. She said her time as CEO and Secretary for the Department of Trade, she learned leadership at times can be difficult. Courageous leadership is not always comfortable, but it is necessary part of how the public service performs its professional role in support of responsible government. Ms Brown, she's now exploring new opportunities in the private sector. I hope to make an announcement soon. So last month, she lost her position of the Chief Executive Officer, but kept the higher position of Secretary of the Department of Enterprise, Investment and Trade. So they are already looking to push her out. spokesperson for Investment New South Wales said Miss Brown had decided to separate the two jobs due to the scale and significant nature of the work involved in both positions. And then it refers to a LinkedIn post, which I actually have, so we're going to have a look at that. The head report acknowledged Miss Brown had regrets about the flawed process surrounding Barilaro's report appointment, but instead any breach of code was unintentional. She said her consultations with Mr. Ayres were a result of ambiguity about how she should or should not involve the relevant minister, who she perceived as having a high level of interest. It's interesting because she's talking about ambiguity, but the government's saying, the government said, oh no, it's all her fault. Why don't they look at their processes and make sure that there is no further ambiguity? Hello, Terry C. Hey there, Joe. Beep, beep. Bus backing up. There's always a full person, but she was smashed in the middle. Never be the middle person for anything. That's correct. Of course, I mean, and don't forget, because she had to actually give sworn evidence, and it was likely that she was going to tell the truth, the government wasn't going to have her, showing them up. So Mr. Barilaro withdrew from the Americas trade role in June after intense media. The role remains unfulfilled, and Barilaro is still due to give evidence. They're still waiting for him. Following the head review, Perrottet announced tighter roles about former ministers. Last week, an independent review found Mr. Ayres' involvement in the Barilaro appointment did not breach the ministerial code of conduct. Mr. Ayres quit the ministry 6 weeks ago. So this is her LinkedIn feed. So this is Amy Brown. So this is what she says. After close to a decade working for the New South Wales government, my tenure has come to an end. This is my last day in this role. I joined the New South Wales government from the public sector in 2013 because I am passionate about improving the lives of all people of this state, because I wanted to serve the communities of New South Wales with this phase of my career. There is nothing more powerful in improving the lives of our people than having equal access to good quality government services and infrastructure. My goal was to create an enhanced focus on delivery, partnering with private sector in a way that drives innovation and creates value for taxpayers. I'm immensely proud of what Investment New South Wales, now Department of Enterprise, Investment and Trade, has achieved through partnering with business investors, talent, students and visitors to grow the economy and reinforce New South Wales as a prosperous, inclusive and thriving global hub. It's been fantastic to see our own state kicking goals on the world stage. As CEO and Department Secretary, I have learned that leadership can, at times, be difficult. Courageous leadership is not always comfortable, but is a necessary part of how the public service performs in its professional role in support of responsible government. I have immense gratitude for my extremely capable Chief Operating Officer, Lisa Braid, Chief Strategy Officer, Eamon Waterford, and colleagues and mentors, Emma Hogan, Georgina Harris, Susan Pearce, and Jim Betts. To all the wonderful people in the enterprise and investment trade cluster, it's been a privilege to lead you, and I know that our people are the heart of success, and I'm very proud of the culture values which underpin the way we work. We create opportunity, we are a place to thrive, and we create the future. Keep being courageous, kind, and committed to creating a workplace where everyone can bring their whole selves to work. I know you'll continue to do great things. As for what's next, I'm exploring new opportunities in the private sector and hope to make an announcement soon. I look forward to reconnecting with you all in due course. So that is her statement on LinkedIn. So there we go. But as I said, last week it was stated that she was probably going to take the fall. Let me find. I'm going to put in here the Swollen Pickle links for that, because it was very enlightening. I've really enjoyed watching Swollen Pickles, particularly on this whole saga. And Swollen Pickles has actually sat through and watched stuff that, has sat and watched the video. But this was New South Wales zero in on a scapegoat, is what he said. This is, let's just watch this. And I'll link it in the channel. This is where when I realised she was probably going to be gone. But so she hasn't really. I don't know whether they've got rid of her or whether she's walked before she was pushed. But this is the episode 8, and this is the link. So make sure you subscribe to Swollen Pickles if you want to keep up. But yeah, this is part 8. He's done 8 episodes of this. Escape from New York, he titled it. It's pretty clever. But he's talking about the scapegoat and Amy Brown. So let's have a look when it loads.
Sacrificial lamb, scapegoat, whatever way you want to describe it. After the past week or so, it seems increasingly likely that Amy Brown is being positioned to take the fall in the Barilaro saga.
So there you go. So it looks like she was. So Swollen Pickles has indicated, yes, it looked like she is going to take the fall.
Estimates on the 7th of September, Premier Perrottet started laying the groundwork.
My view in relation to this is it's been really disappointing that the recruitment process that was established had flaws. I think that's incredibly clear as set out in the head review, and that shouldn't have occurred. Now people have an opportunity as private citizens to apply for positions. That should be welcome. I have said before that the former Deputy Premier, as you are aware, was a former trade minister in this state. You raise Mr. Stephen Cartwright. He is somebody who was the head of Business New South Wales for many years. When people have a...
Now there's questions over his in his appointment as well, that she said she inherited that because he was friends with her and said, if you don't give me what I want, I'm going to go to the Premier. The upper house inquiry is also looking into that. Michael Flynn says she was 100% complicit in the appointment of Barilaro. She was opaque with the truth about the process. She was responsible for throwing West under the bus. She should step aside. No doubt she was protecting powerful people in the process and will fall upward. Yeah, it looks like she's fallen. She's
requisite skill set that you'd be able to apply for jobs.
Premier, if you had your time over again, would you appoint John Barilaro to the New York position?
It wasn't a decision for me to make the appointment, Ms. Sharp. It was a matter for the public service, as we are aware, through the Graham Head review.
And Barilaro has said that the flawed process you described has meant that he feels he's the victim of all this. He says, I'm the victim. Do you agree that John Barilaro is
I think as Mr. Barilaro has pointed out, if he had his time again, he wouldn't have applied for the job. He was not to know. We were not to know that the process was flawed.
If the process is flawed, it's a government policy. If she did nothing wrong, others will see through it. I hope she sees Bros. Come and down nominated. Here's the thing. Why has he tightened up the process if it wasn't flawed? Aussie Viking says another incompetent doofus bites the dust.
Let's take a step back for a second.
So, as you heard there, a lot of talk about a flawed process. According to the Premier, neither Barilaro or the Perrottet government were to know that the process was flawed. Really? Briefings, emails, signed documents. How were they to know that the process was flawed? Later in
I love that.
How were they to know that?
I love Swollen Pickle because just the way that he delivers it, and with the sarcasm. Swollen Pickle's become a favourite channel of mine, I have to say.
That the process was flawed. Later in the day, the New South Wales Secretary of the Department of Premier and Cabinet, Michael Coates-Trotter, was asked what action was being taken with respect to Amy Brown's ongoing employment.
Now, this is really interesting, okay, because now we're going to find out that it looks like she is going to take the fall.
Regular viewers may remember that the decision on whether or not disciplinary action would be taken was left squarely at his feet, thanks to some swift responsibility ducking from the Trade Minister.
I am not responsible for the employment functions of Amy Brown. The employment functions of Ms. Brown under the Public Service Employment Act is a matter for Mr. Coates-Trotter.
With the employment functions of Amy Brown being dropped at the feet of Michael Coates-Trotter.
So the minister whom she responds to, so the new minister, I mean, admittedly, he's the new minister, he only had the job for 6 weeks, has essentially washed his hands of the whole process and says, no, I'm not responsible for that. This person is.
It was all on him.
On the 18th of August, I spoke with Ms. Brown and expressed a preliminary view to her that I had formed from reading Mr. Head's report. I expressed a preliminary view, and my preliminary view was and is that she had not satisfactorily performed the function of secretary. I've not made a final view, and the procedural fairness afforded to Ms. Brown gives her an opportunity to make a submission to me in relation to my preliminary view about it.
I'm wondering whether she just didn't bother to make the submission and just went, I'm leaving, nick off. You know, one of the things that you want to, you always want from your employer is that they back you in when the times are tough. And it looks like that the New South Wales government are really washing their hands of the whole process and going, nah, we're going to put this on one person.
Performance.
It's my preliminary view that when the person responsible for your immediate employment future is publicly voicing their opinion that you have not been performing your job satisfactorily, it's probably time to start dusting off your resume.
So I wonder whether she saw this and thought, well, yeah, I'm going to dust off my resume.
In forming his view, Coates-Trotter had leaned heavily on the findings of the Head report.
In forming the preliminary view, I had regard to the following conclusions from the Head report. In respect to the first recruitment process, you gave ministers an incomplete and hence misleading picture as to whether suitable candidates had been identified, noting that Mr. Head was of the opinion that you had no intention to mislead. In respect to the first recruitment process, your failure to consider relevant factors in accepting a late application from a candidate who had, through the normal course of their duties, access to information about other candidates in the process, and your failure to disclose this matter to other panel members during the panel's discussions. Then in relation to the second...
So he's going through as to why. So he's read the Head report, which also, I might add, put heirs in a bad light. And so they've relied on this one that, yeah.
Recruitment process, my preliminary view was that Ms. Brown failed to fully disclose to all panel members, having involved the then Minister for Trade in discussions about the composition of the shortlist, having arranged for one of the candidates to meet the then Minister for Trade while the selection process was still underway, for having discussions with the former Minister for Trade as to the suitability of Mr. Barilaro for the role while the selection process was underway, and having concluded contract negotiations with Mr. Barilaro without the selection panel having determined its final assessment of candidates. I've indicated I'm considering the matter under Section 68 of the Government Sector Employment Act. Part 2 sets out the actions that I am contemplating or may contemplate, and one of those is termination.
So he was contemplating termination.
Given the options...
So it says unsatisfactory performance of public service employees. So this is what I also like about subsection 2. The performance of an employee of a government agency is determined to be unsatisfactory in accordance with those rules The person who exercises employer functions in relation to the employee may, without limitation on relevant action, take any of the following actions. A, terminate the employment of the employee after giving employee an opportunity to resign. So maybe she's been given an opportunity to resign and she's taken it. Reduce the remuneration payable to the employee. Reduce the classification grade or grade of the employee. Assign employee to a different role. This section does not apply to that part of the New South Wales police force comprising police officers or any employees of a government sector agency excluded from this section of the regulation, without limiting the action that may be taken under this section by the person who exercises employer function in relation to a New South Wales Health Service senior executive. The Secretary of the Ministry of Health may, if the Secretary is not an employer of the executive, terminate the executive's employment under this section. So he could either terminate after giving her an opportunity to resign, reduce the pay, reduce the classification, which would therefore reduce the pay, and assign the employee to a different role.
You'd have to think termination is the most likely.
Until I am able to conclude the process of responding to Mr. Head's findings and concluding the process I'm in, she will be on leave. I'm dealing with it on a preliminary basis as a question of poor performance.
So he put her on leave until a decision was made as to what to do, and it was on the basis of poor performance. It's funny that no one had any issues with her performance up until this point, though.
She will be on leave. I'm dealing with it on a preliminary basis as a question of poor performance and not misconduct.
Questions then turned to the McClintock review that was delivered to the New South Wales government that same day.
What powers has Mr. McClintock had access to as he's...
Now, this is what is really, really interesting, and this is where I really like swallowing pickles. So you're going to see here that under this McClintock report, the report that was released that cleared airs, nobody was bound to tell the truth. So this is where it gets really interesting. So watch this.
Completed that investigation.
Mr. McClintock has no statutory powers. He's giving a legal opinion, and the inquiry power of the government.
The prerogative power of the governor has been used.
Yes, that's right. Consistent with the approach taken in relation to a number of other expert panel inquiries in the past.
So, but there's no powers of compulsion?
No.
No powers to take evidence under oath?
No.
No powers to order the production of documents?
No.
Is there a power to inspect cabinet documents?
Mr. McClintock was provided with access to cabinet documents as part of the inquiry voluntarily.
Okay, so he can interview people. They're not under any obligation to tell him the truth. Is that fair?
No, I don't think that's a fair thing to say.
Well, agree to disagree.
But I think it's important to consider the context of Mr. McClintock's task here, and it was to give a legal opinion on whether the facts, as found by Mr. Head, constituted a breach of the code. So it wasn't.
So he had no power. So yeah, essentially had no power.
Really a fact-finding exercise in the way that you've described. He's been asked to look at the findings in the Head review and form a legal view.
What legal question has he been asked to answer or provide an opinion on?
So he's been asked to, having regard to the findings of the Head review, did former Minister Ayres breach the ministerial code of conduct?
Which particular part of the code?
There was no particular part of the code specified in the terms of reference for the inquiry.
So there was no particular part of the code that he had to investigate. It was an overall view. So it was doomed to show the government in a good light.
So any part of the code, any and all.
So it had a fairly defined scope. With the McClintock review clearing Ayres of any wrongdoing with respect to breaching the ministerial code of conduct, it did leave me wondering just how high the ministerial code of conduct bar was set. Ayres pointed out in his press release that the Premier had referred to it as an emphatic exoneration. I wouldn't have gone that far. neither would the New South Wales opposition.
The opposition says the scope of this review was too narrow.
Stuart Ayres has misled the Parliament and he showed incredibly poor judgment in relation to the appointment of John Barilaro. Nothing about that changes today.
The review found the government sector agency sought the involvement of the minister and that these requests were not rejected. This was covered in the head report as well. It seems pretty clear to everyone now that the process did not occur at arm's length from the minister, despite what he might say.
Arm's length?
And just a reminder that Amy Brown has appeared before the committee giving sworn testimony.
I swear that the evidence now about to be given by me should be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God.
We're yet to see Stuart Ayres or Dominic Perrottet do that.
So yes, so none of the ministers involved actually given sworn evidence or testimony, yeah, it's just mind-boggling. Like, it is mind-boggling.
The CEO of Investment New South Wales conducted a recruitment process that was not influenced by government.
It was my decision, but it very much took into account the views of the minister.
The views of the minister and the preference of the minister, that'd be fair to say.
That's accurate.
Surely the minister issuing praising John Barilaro to you a day after the applications have closed would have carried tremendous weight with you.
It carried some weight.
How exactly then could the Perrottet government not know how flawed the process was? There have been touch points almost every step of the way. While he may have been cleared by Bruce McClintock SC, I'm not sure that Stuart Ayres nor the New South Wales government will be let off the hook as easily by the court of public opinion. A recent Resolve survey found that the majority of respondents view the Barilaro saga as a jobs for the boys scenario.
I mean, there were 600 voters, so out of 600 people, 56% said that it was jobs for the boys. But yeah, it's very interesting, isn't it, that the government's patting themselves on the back for a job well done.
With only 14% of respondents believing that Barilaro was a worthy candidate in a fair process. So with Ayres cleared, Perrottet talking of a flawed process, and Coots Trotter considering playing the Section 68.2A card, it's looking fairly certain that the New South Wales government have identified who'll be going under the bus for this whole affair.
So this was, as I said, this was Swollen Pickles. Now, he did this Friday. This was released on the 17th. So he'd already picked this up on the 17th. But yeah, check out the Swollen Pickles channel. As I said, he's pretty clever. I've really been enjoying his stuff because he's right on the money there. He can put videos across way better than I can. So that's where some of my information on this has come from, because again, he's shown receipts. He's just not made a statement and said, hey, this is what's going on. He's made a statement and said, here's the evidence. So what do you think of all of that? So as I said, she's announced that today's her last day. So it does look like she's leaving. I just don't know whether she's gone because she's been pushed or whether she's been thrown under the bus. But I'm interested to know your thoughts. I just really wanted to do a quick live and just get your thoughts on this matter. And plus, I've just was scrolling through my looking for something to watch while I was studying, and everyone seems to be having goes at everybody at the moment. There just seems to be a lot of infighting on YouTube at the moment, and I wanted something different. I wanted to turn the focus back onto the government. And I don't know whether anyone's interested, but in a couple of hours, the funeral of the Queen will be taking place, and that's what a lot of people will be watching around the world. I don't know what you'll be doing, but it's probably what I'll be doing, watching the Queen's funeral. Definitely going to be interesting. A big event. Our Prime Minister's there. Well, we're part we're part of the Commonwealth. So all the railmans were asked to attend. I know Sri Lanka attended the other day. Sri Lanka's had a whole lot of turmoil going on at the moment, and Sri Lanka's the Sri Lankan president is there. So it's very interesting to see all the people that are there. But yeah, I just going and having a look to see what else is here. Yeah. Anyway, Amy Brown. Friendly Geordies needs on this. I think he does, because there's something more to this, I think. There has to be something more to this. Why have they been quick to throw her under the bus? Is what I want to know. Portion of the flag is blue and yellow. Yeah, and I think China's attending as well. I know Biden. I know Biden has met with King Charles, which I thought was a very interesting. So President Biden's come. It's the biggest. What did they say? It's the biggest event nearly in world history, with so many dignitaries and around. They've got the military. I think they've even got some of the Commonwealth. They've called in some Commonwealth reinforcements, because I think there's members of the New Zealand Navy in the UK at the moment, and I think they've called them in to give support, because New Zealand's part of the Commonwealth. So it's definitely going to be a big event, and never before has such scrutiny been on London. And I believe they've just closed the line for people to go pay their respects. Somebody was saying that they've got a family member that turned 40 the other day, and the way that they spent their 40th birthday was waiting in line to pay their respects for the Queen. I could think of other things to be doing on my birthday, let alone my 40th birthday, but hey. Yeah. Ooh. It says, they've just changed it. The headline. She's been sacked. Did I say that was the headline? They've just updated the headline while we were just sitting here. Have a look at this. So she did get sacked. Look. I wasn't sure whether she was sacked or whether she was let go, but the ABC's now reporting 8 minutes ago, sacked. The New South Wales bureaucrat, the centre of the controversial appointment, has been sacked. So, interesting. CEO of the Greater Cities Commission, Elizabeth Mildwater, will take over Miss Brown's role as Department Secretary in an active capacity for the next month. Now, she was on $600,000 a year. So she lost her position of the Chief Executive of Investment New South Wales. She kept the higher ranked position of Secretary, but now she's been sacked for both. So he said it's a privilege to hold. However, Mr. Coates-Trotter said the conclusion made by the head review meant Miss Brown could no longer satisfactorily hold the office. It's a privilege to hold a role as a senior leader in New South Wales Public Service. With this rightly comes a high degree of accountability, Mr. Coates-Trotter said. I acknowledge that dealing with the events in recent months and doing so under such intense public scrutiny has weighed heavily on Miss Brown. I want to thank her for her service. This morning, the Secretary of Department of Premier and Cabinet issued a statement saying Miss Brown would no longer be employed by the government. Let me just see if I can find that statement. I wanted to read that statement. So that's just come out. Let's see. So they were going by the fact it was her last day today, but now it's come out to say that they've shown her the door. Let's have a look. We'll see media releases. I think it's been media, I guess. No. Yeah, I've got. She was on leave in August, so she'd been on leave since August. Oh! Guess who Michael Coots is? No way! Does anyone know who Michael Coots Trotter is? Have a look at this. Have a look at this. Federal Labor MP Tanya Plibersek is married to Michael Coots Trotter, the New South Wales most senior state bureaucrat. He works for the Liberal New South Wales government, and she's the Environment Minister for the full New South Wales government. Wow! I hadn't. So there you go. What do you reckon about that? Does anyone else like going, this is getting more and more weirder? But he is the Premier Peratay's right-hand man. So, how you... Wowzers. All right. Oh, it's not here. But the Premier... no. So what do you reckon? I'm just baffled. Just like, wow. Yeah, I can't find the actual statement, but the ABC is reporting that there was a statement this morning, but I'm looking for it. But yeah, so she's been sacked. So he said she was on leave until a decision was made. So, yeah. So anyway, go. Yes, he does have a drug trafficking. Yes, I believe that. True. Yes. Yes, he does. But I'm more interested in the fact that his connection to the federal government, which is a different party. Is that why Peratay and Andrews have been on well? I don't know. That's bizarre. 20 minutes ago. Yeah, I cannot find the statement. So, So it said that she'd stepped down, and then there's lots here to say that they'd considered sacking and redundancy, but they're saying she's been sacked. But I can't find the actual video press statement. And there we go. Oh, New South Wales, Aussie's getting old. True. Yeah, I don't know what's worse either. It's yeah. So this here's have much more bends and turns. Oh yeah, it's a little bit more exciting, isn't it? Maybe. I'm just having a look at his push-ups to see whether he put it on there. If he's put it on there, then great. But yeah, no. No, he's just shared a lot of other stuff. No. Right, let's have a look. Trade Commissioner to America's Employment Process Inquiry. Memos, no. Where's media release? Memos and circulars. Wouldn't it be under memos and circulars? No. No, there's nothing there. No, that's the report. No. No, can't find anything. I cannot find. I mean, he's obviously sent it out, and it'll be released later. But I can't find anything at the moment that says this is the report. So anyway, that's about all. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's worse. I don't know anything. It's bizarre at the moment. Really, really bizarre. That's all I can say. How it all has been working out. So anyway, I'm going to love you all and leave you all. And yeah, I hope you have a good day. And look, we'll keep watching, but make sure you subscribe to Swollen Pickle. And I've put Swollen Pickle's details in the description box, so you can actually go and have a look at the video, watch it yourself at your leisure. So the big thing is that, yes, Amy Brown has been thrown under a bus, in my opinion. We started early. Who wanted to give their money to the British? Yeah. And yeah, I'm still a little bit underwhelmed. I'm doing better. I've got to rest up because I've got to work on Thursday and Friday, and I've got a busy head. So and I just posted an unboxing, and I've got a new book to read on the train when I catch the train in. I've just got to remember to find my face masks as well. But anyway, for the train. But anyway, I will catch you all again soon. Look, I might be on later tonight. I'm a lady of leisure at the moment, and home, which is good. I'll be home for a little while. And although I'm out tomorrow, I might be out tomorrow. I've got to do some running around for my nephew. He's trying out for a AFL state squad. So he's doing a recruitment day for the Northern Knights, which is a stepping stone into the AFL. Don't know that he'll get there, but look, to be given a tryout is pretty exciting. So I'm going to go and do auntie duties tomorrow. And yeah, anyway, I will catch you all later. And yeah, you have a great day. If you could please hit like and subscribe, that would be really helpful. Bye for now.